Hello students, good morning. This is Narendra Jain, Director, Manthan Career Institute and Director, Parshva International Senior Secondary School. Students, you can see all these videos on my YouTube channel, Narendra Jain Sir's Chemistry. And what we are discussing is again the same thing, some fundamental concepts of the chemistry. And what we have discussed earlier, that was counting of the number of electrons, protons and neutrons in atom. Now today we are going to discuss counting of number of electron, proton and neutron in molecules and in ions. So we start number of electrons, protons and neutrons in the molecules and the ions. If I recall, A is equals to number of protons plus number of neutrons, okay, and Z is equals to number of the protons. This is clear. And since atom and molecule, if we both talk about the atom and the molecule, then both are neutral in the nature. What does it mean? If they are neutral, then number of protons are equal to number of the electrons. In the case of the atom and the molecules, as they are neutral in the nature, so total number of protons are equal to total number of the electron. Remember, we never says that electrons are equal to Z. No, electrons are equals to proton and protons are equal to the Z. Okay, now calculate number of electron, proton and neutron in a molecule. If molecule is given, what does it mean? It means a group of the atoms is given. So what you have to do, you calculate the electron, proton and neutron in all atoms given in the molecule and add them. For example, if we consider H2SO4, sulfuric acid is there. In case of H2SO4, we have to calculate the electron, proton and neutron. So what we will do, we will separate all these atoms, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. We all know hydrogen are 2. So multiply the hydrogen with the 2. Sulfur is 1 and oxygen is 4. Okay. Now what is the atomic number of the hydrogen and atomic mass number? Both are 1. Hydrogen has got the 1 electron, 1 proton and neutron is 0. What's the formula? Number of neutrons is equals to A minus Z. In the case of the hydrogen, A is also 1 and Z is also 1. So we subtract both of these. So neutrons are 0. But since 2 hydrogen are there, so I multiply it by the 2. Answer is again 2. Multiply by the 2. Answer is 2. In the case of the neutron, it is 0. Okay. What about the sulfur? See. Sulfur 16 and 32 is there. Atomic number 16. Atomic mass number 32. So in the case of the sulfur, electrons are 16, protons are 16 and neutrons are 32 minus 16, that is equals to 16. Okay. What about oxygen? 8 and 16. Atomic number 8. Atomic mass number 16. So electrons 8. But since I have got the 4 oxygen, so multiply it by the 4. Answer is 32 electrons are there in 4 oxygen. Similarly, 8 protons are there. Multiply by 4. That is again 32 protons are there, and 16 minus 8, that means 8 neutrons are there. Again multiply by 4, so 8 into 4, that is 32. If I add up, then what will happen? 32 plus 16 plus 2, it is 50. 32, 16 and 2, it is again 50. But 32 and 16, 48 and 0, it is 48. Means what? In the case of the sulfuric acid, we have got the 50 electrons, 50 protons and 48 neutrons are there. Why the neutrons are less? It's very clear picture. Hydrogen don't have got the neutrons. For more example, if I go for glucose, it's glucose C6H12O6. It is glucose. Okay. Now in the case of the glucose, what will happen? See, 6 carbon is there, 12 hydrogen is there, 6 oxygen is there, electron, proton and neutron. What is the atomic number of the carbon? It is 6 and this 6 belongs to its quantity. Atomic number 6 and 12. So electrons are 6 in one carbon, 6 electrons are there. But what we are observing is 6 carbon are there, therefore 6 6 are 36 electrons are there. 1 that means 1 electron in the 1 hydrogen. We have got the 12, answer is the 12. And what is this in this case? Again 8 16, 1 oxygen has got the 8 electrons. We have got the 6 oxygen, 6 8 and 6 into 8 is 48 electrons are there. So 36 of the carbon, 12 of the hydrogen and 48 of the oxygen. If we add up, then what is your answer? 6, 1 carry over, 4, 5 and it's 96. So in the case of the glucose, electrons are 96. Similarly, glucose is a molecule and molecules are neutral in the nature. Therefore, again protons will be 36 here, 12 is there, 48 is there. Answer is again 96. In the case of the neutron, 12 minus 6 again 36. Getting this? This is 0. Why? Because hydrogen don't have got the neutrons, so I have taken to 0. And now 16 minus 8 is 8. 8 6 again 48 is there. So what is the difference between this? Electrons and proton contains the 12 figure is there, but in the case of the hydrogen, neutrons are 0. Therefore, what is our answer? 84 is the answer. Okay, so we can calculate number of the electron, proton and neutron in any of the molecule. If you're observing the videos and practicing yourself and making the notes, then what you do yourself. Always remember, you will learn the chemistry only by the practicing yourself. What I am giving to you, calculate number of electrons, protons and neutrons in following molecules. This is the assignment work you can do in your copy so that you can become experts to calculate the electron, protons and the neutrons. What you have to do, H2SO5, this is called as Caro's acid. Okay, H2S2O8, this is called as Marshall's acid. Okay, HNO3, nitric acid. Okay, C12H22O11, it's sucrose. Okay, so these are the, for example, you try yourself and calculate the number of the electrons, protons and the neutron. So this is the calculation of the number of electron, proton and neutron in the molecule. Now we move ahead. Ions. We all know ions are of two types. One is anion. Second is cation. We have got the two types of the ion. If beginner students of the 11th class can have a certain confusion, which charge is present on the anion and which charge is present on the cation, the easiest way, in the name, if we pronounce anion, then it's anion. Anion means this ion will be negatively charged. Anion, it's a trick. Anion is negative charge, then automatically this is cation, this will be the positive charge. It's a very simple trick. And remember, many of our students always confuses. How can we recognize anion and cation? Need not to bother. Always follow my trick. Anion. Anion means it's negative ion, but obviously it's the cation. Okay. Now, see what I am writing. Either anion or cation. Either anion or cation are formed by change in the number of the electrons only. Change are formed by change in number of electrons. Means what? Either anion has been given or cation has been given. Remember this point, number of electrons are changed. Never proton, neither neutron. That is, either it is atom or it's anion or it's cation. Number of protons and number of neutrons always remains constant. Only the change is the number of the electron. And now, first thing, anion. Anion means we have discussed it's a negative ion. So, how the anion is formed? Anion is formed by gain of electron. Anions are formed by gain of electron. If we are adding electron, then anions are formed. Okay. So, for example, we take Cl minus 1. Now see, what's this minus 1 sign is representing? It is representing that this chlorine has accepted one electron. Minus 1 means one electron is added. Okay. Now what about if I go for the O minus 2, then minus 2 means 2 electrons are added. If I go for N minus 3, it means 3 electrons are added. Means what? Whatever is the value of the negative charge is the number of the electrons added. So in the case of the Cl, it's 1. In the case of O minus 2, it's 2. In the case of the N minus 3, it's 3. This is the number of the electrons we have added. So, calculate number of electron, proton and neutron in Cl minus. If somebody says you have to calculate the electron, protons and neutrons in the Cl minus, then what you will do? Cl minus has been given, we all know 17 and 35 is there. I'm not talking about 35.5. In the later class I will discuss why 35.5 comes, but now we have got the, you all have heard about the isotopes of the chlorine. We have got the two types of the isotopes. One is chlorine 35, another is chlorine 37. At present case we are speaking for the chlorine 35, so Z is equals to 17 and A is equals to 35. What I have told you that during the formation of the anions, electrons will be added, okay? Electrons are gained, but during the formation of any of the ions, number of protons and number of neutrons does not changes. That means in the case of chlorine, proton are 17 because they are equal to Z. Neutron are in this case 35 minus 17. Why? Formula is A minus Z. Getting this point? It's 18 answer. Now what about electron? Remember this point. For any of the anion, number of electrons are equal to Z plus charge. What the charge is given without sign. You don't go in such a way that minus 1 you have put here. It will be wrong. For example, here Z plus 1, that is 17 plus 1, that is equals to 18. Don't put, I am writing there, without sign. Need not to put the sign, because if you are going to put the sign, then minus 1 and plus is the again minus and you will answer is 16. No, it's wrong. What you have to do, you have to only put the magnitude of the charge. If we go for the O minus 2, now see, 8, 16 is there. Then protons are equals to 8. Neutrons are equals to 16 minus 8 is equals to 8. And the electrons are equal to Z plus charge. The formula has been given to you. So, what is the Z? Z is 8 and how much charge is there? It's 2. Don't go for the negative sign. It's only 2. So 8 plus 2, that is electrons are equals to 10. Okay. This is clear to you? Similarly, if we calculate number of electron, proton and neutron in cation. If somebody talk about cation, then how the cation is formed? Cations means positive charge ions, and cations are formed by loss of electrons. Okay, cations are all formed by the loss of the electron. If any species loses the electron, then it is cation, and cations are positive charge. If we say Na plus, it is plus, it has lost 1 electron lost. If I go for the magnesium plus 2 electrons are lost. If I go for the aluminum plus 3 electrons are lost. So by the charge you can decide how many electrons are lost. Now, so number of electron is equals to Z minus charge. In this case, what you have to do, Z is the number of the protons and you subtract with the charge. Okay, for example, sodium plus has been given to you, 11, 23 is there. Protons is equals to 11, neutrons is equals to 23 minus 11, that is equals to 12. What about electron? 11 minus 1, that is equals to 10. Why minus 1? Because Na plus has been given and it has lost the one more electron. So if we take an example of the magnesium plus 2, then it's 12, 24. Then Z is equals to 12, A is equals to 24. Then protons are equal to 12, neutrons equal to 24 minus 12, that is equals to 12. Electrons, 12 minus 2, that is equals to 10. So in this way, you can calculate the number of the electron, proton and neutron in the cations and the anion. Okay. So in this part, what I have explained to you, how to calculate number of electrons, protons and neutrons in the molecules and in the anions. I have given the assignment. Do yourself and practice and make yourself perfect. Because remember, in the chemistry you need is the practice. So you can see these videos on my YouTube channel also, Narendra Jain Sir's Chemistry. See it and get expert in the chemistry. Okay.